Yeah. Oh, that was a horrible picture.
Yeah.
Delete that.
Yeah.
Delete it. Delete it. Big time. Delete
Guys, here we go. This is the time. This is the place. And this is FC3 Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky. And since everything is geeky, even at Halloween season, you'll love it enough, because you never know what you're gonna get. Is that good? Come on, that was good. That was good.
Okay, that was not Vincent Price. That was
that
William
last sentence
Shatner.
seemed a little
I'll
weird.
take it. That works
last
for me.
sentence was like, in Halloween season, if you love it enough. And I'm like,
What?
You know,
I'm sorry.
you want to be the host of this show?
Yes.
Well, you can't.
Too bad. Sherry.
This is your host, IMC, rounding out our salute to the classic movie monsters. We're talking about the Wolfman today. After that, stick around for our upcoming events and question of the week.
We're talking about Tyler?
We're going to tell you, he's not that furry.
Not yet.
He's not that furry.
But we call him the Teen Wolf.
He's got the buck teeth for it.
He's got such an aversion to pain and things like that, and because he's been talked to about potentially braces and things like that. I'm not going to do that to my kid right now.
Suck it up, Buttercup. Put him in the chair.
No.
It's going to help him in the long
He's
run.
got Timmy Turner teeth.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Chris.
How are you, Billy?
I'm good. I'm just sitting here enjoying things.
I'm telling you. You never know. Whenever I go off script, it's just Sherry starts cringing over here.
I'm sorry, I cringed on that part too because it just didn't flow
It didn't
as
flow like it normally
smooth as
does.
you normally do.
That's all right. It's supposed to be creepy. It's Halloween.
It's supposed to
season.
be creepy. You just sounded creepy.
Oh, you know what? I got two words for you. Bite me.
That was two
2 weeks ago.
podcasts ago with
Well,
Dracula.
no, Wolfman.
Well, yeah.
Hi, Monk.
Hello.
How are you, Sweet Pea?
She's good. She's staying out of it.
I love this girl. I really do. The Cuddle Monster. Speaking of monster movies, we should do a whole, it's the Cuddle Monster. And it's a whole parody movie of just Alana running over and grabbing people and hugging them.
Glomming.
I
Glomming
could get in
on.
trouble for that.
Glomming.
Glomming on. That's all right.
So, yes, we're talking about the Wolfman.
So what's new and exciting this week? We done anything interesting lately? Other than talk about monster movies?
Let's see. I had a superintendent's conference day, and I had Columbus Day off. So
Okay.
I've had that time. Took record to the dentist.
Yeah. I can't talk about my work stuff because, I work for the government. So any given day I've been called horrible names or...
But didn't you have Columbus Day off also?
I got Columbus Day off. That was nice. Pippin and I hung out watching Marvel movies all day.
Well, that's
Yeah,
probably the usual.
That was a thing.
We went camping.
You went camping?
Yes.
Where'd you go camping?
My friend Gabby's house.
Was it haunted?
Not as far as we know.
Well,
right, well, then-
it is Gabby's house.
Then that's no longer topical at this point. So we're moving on. No, I'm kidding.
Man, you are like
I didn't get
cruising for a bruising
I didn't
today,
get
aren't
sleep
you?
last night. I'm sorry. I'm just tired. More tired than usual.
I'll tell you.
I'm exhausted.
Software changes are required.
I'm just glad I'm not DMing tonight. That's all.
Yeah.
I caught up on the first
neither.
episode of Saturday Night Live of the season.
Yeah,
from
how
the
was
other
it?
Night. And
Was it
not-
with Kanye West?
Yes.
Again?
Yes. That was the one I watched. and-
Kanye.
Oh,
That man.
I don't know if... what was that where he was dressed as a Perrier water bottle?
I don't know. I haven't watched Saturday Night Live in years.
Yeah.
Years.
Not since the Not for Ready for Primetime Players. That's the originals.
can't
Every
do it.
now and then they'll do something that completely floors me.
So it's like a golf game.
Every so
Saturday Night
often
Live
you
is
get a
like you
good
get
shot.
that one shot, but the rest of it is just you're hitting them into the woods, you're hitting them into the pond, you're hitting them into the bunker, you're hitting them over the head. You're clocking them off the scorekeeper. It's just you're all over the God's green earth. But then there's that one golf shot that just sails right down the middle, and it's like
And you're like, and this is the reason why I play this game.
I love this game.
And this is why I watch that show. And then something else happens. You're like, no.
Right? Yeah. No.
No. Has anyone seen the new fall premiere of Manifest?
Yes.
I saw the trailers.
I-
to
I
it. Is
saw
that
That was good.
the
It wa-
airplane one?
Yes.
See,
It's got the Prince Charming
Prince
from
Charming
Once
from
Upon a Time.
Yep.
All right.
I've seen one episode so far. I've been watching it on Hulu
Okay.
because I forget to DVR it.
Yep.
Right.
I don't have a DVR, so yeah. I'm in the
so-
same boat.
any thriller involving a plane, I'm like, I don't want to get into another Lost.
Well, it's now, what, 3 weeks in?
Yeah.
So if you haven't, like, this spoilers for those that haven't seen it, but, like, at the end of the first episode, the plane blows up. Because whatever happened on that plane is staying on that plane.
Yeah. Nobody's on the plane.
No.
when it blows up.
But
But they're all
the plane doesn't want to be examined.
investigated.
So it self-destructs.
Yes.
We don't know.
Something happened to it.
Speaking of catching up with stuff that just started, this actually didn't start, so never mind. Speaking of catching up with stuff, I finally got my account with CBS All Access, and I started watching Star Trek Discovery.
Yes.
And I'm about 3 or 4 episodes in right now, and I do not understand why people slammed it so badly, because I'm enjoying it. It starts off a little slow, a little methodical, but I'm liking how the story is developing. It's a new take on the Gene Roddenberry universe, and I'm really digging it so far. So I'm not sure where people were slamming it.
I really want to watch it because one of my favorite actors is in it.
Who is it?
Anthony Rapp.
Oh, yeah.
Love him.
Yeah.
Love him. Love
He's like a
everything
chief
in.
engineer type.
Love him.
Yeah.
And I
Very
was
sarcastic, very
so
dry.
excited to have NCIS back.
For its 27th season?
Yes.
For
Mark
his
Harmon's starting
5.
to look a
He's starting to look like he's
like he's now like pure white hair for this season.
Yeah. I had to point out to Lana that he used to actually be a comedy actor.
Yes.
Anthony
Wasn't
Rapp?
he in
No, Mark Harmon.
No, Mark
Harmon.
Harmon. Wasn't he in
Summer School.
I'm like, wasn't he a teacher in one of those movies?
Yes,
Yeah,
Summer School. Speaking of horror movies,
Yeah. Well, you know what? Mark Harmon only just had a birthday last month.
Did he really?
Yes.
Oh, his birthday and mine are the same, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Anthony Rapp was in Adventures in Babysitting.
He
which I
was.
brought
Is
up.
that your guilty
He
pleasure?
was.
Back to your
Yeah.
guilty pleasure?
Yeah.
yeah, I almost brought that up when you mentioned your
That's
guilty
funny.
pleasure that Anthony Rapp, a very young Anthony Rapp.
Yes.
He was also in Rent, and he was
I'm
amazing.
Oh,
having
he was one of the
issues today.
originals.
Yep.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Well, if it's not me hitting the microphone, I just lost my headphones. I'm just not having
You're
the
always-
best.
you-
I am falling apart today.
Tanya needs some combobulation because she's very discombobulated.
Well,
at the
Billy was
moment.
discombobulated 2
Get her a
weeks
donut.
ago.
Somebody get her a donut and some cider. She'll be fine.
Is it?
It's magical
is it,
potion of curative. It's that squeeze stuff that she keeps bringing. It's the season.
Yeah.
Pumpkin
It's
spice is
good.
wrong. Apple cider is right.
I don't like pumpkin spice.
Good. All right. Anyway,
Is it doctored? That's what I
I
wanted
wanna-
to say. Can
Let's
we
jump
doctor
into
that?
this one because I want to talk about the amazing fur festival that is the Wolfman. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're rounding off the triple header of Halloween season. We've talked about Dracula. We talked about Frankenstein.
delicious.
Now we're going to jump on to the Wolfman. So we'll be right back. That's right.
Back with Ookla.
Who's this by Sherry?
Ookla the Mock.
With the mod. Did we just have one?
You heard about FC3? Rand Palavia is one of the coolest human beings on the planet. I'm just going to throw that out there for nothing. All right. The image of a cursed soul doomed to become a werewolf at the rising of a full moon is one of the most iconic concepts in horror. But, unlike Dracula or the Mummy, the notion of a wolfman or werewolf was not cemented by one single actor, author, book, or horror series. It is instead a truly ancient concept dating back to the pre-literate sagas and legends told by Europeans centuries ago. There isn't even a consensus as to how the Wolfman is supposed to look. Despite that, werewolves in general continue to have an enduring appeal with directors and audiences alike. Ah! Yeah! Made up for the opening. I'm sorry. So there's a ton of
Oh, my
werewolf
goodness.
movies.
Is it like Werewolf in London?
Werewolf.
Are we channeling some Warren Zevon all of a sudden?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because his hair was perfect. It
Ah.
was on a pina colada at Trader Vic's.
Actually, I believe the first werewolf movie was Werewolf of London.
Werewolf of London.
I'm just going to the
1935.
to the
1935?
song.
Okay.
Werewolves of London.
Yep.
Ow!
No, the movies I listed are not all of the ones.
No.
These are considered some of the top werewolf.
I will tell you, one of my favorites is the Jack Nicholson Wolf from 1994. The worm is turning and he's packing an Uzi. You know, it's just a great movie.
I loved from the time I was young, real young. Well, I was 9 when the movie came out. Was American Werewolf in London.
Oh, that's
loved
a great movie.
that film, and I hated horror movies. Hated it. Loved that movie.
But it was very funny. It was very clever and very scary. David Naughton, best known at the time for being the Dr. Pepper spokesman, and the star of the sitcom Making It.
Yeah.
I had such a crush on him when I was young.
Did you?
I did because of this movie.
She was a Pepper too.
That's awesome.
He was adorable.
Actually, let me.
So who do we got? Is this Lon? Is this Lon Chaney?
Yes.
And
to me, that's who I picture when I picture the Wolfman is the Lon Chaney version.
And Bela Lugosi was Bella the gypsy.
Bella, okay.
Yep.
The gypsy in here.
So you had two of the masters of original horror movies in the same movie at the same. It's a super group of horror movies.
And this is the one I watched last the Saturday night before we did our Dracula podcast.
It's like having De Niro and Pacino in the same movie.
And this one was actually a little longer. I think I want to say 78, 79 minutes.
I'm gonna.
It's old. It's came out in 41.
Okay.
Yeah. So
10 years after Frankenstein and Dracula.
Yeah.
And then a couple years after the American Werewolf, or Werewolf in London, excuse me, for adding the American part, because that's a later movie.
Yes.
That's an 80s movie, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
81.
I regret I did not do my homework this week. I have not actually seen The Werewolf, so I'm going to lean on you guys, because I know.
Wolfman?
Yeah,
The
The
Wolfman.
Wolfman. That's what I meant to say.
What's interesting about, like when you were saying in the opening, that there isn't just one
Iteration.
This character that he plays, Larry Talbot, was created for this movie. He is not
any book.
It's not like Dracula. It's not like Frankenstein.
Right. Okay.
It is. He was created for this movie.
Gotcha.
And his story. And his story is very different. Because.
Was he bitten?
Yes.
Okay.
He was protecting a woman, and he was bitten trying to
protect her from
protect
the
her.
wolf.
Okay. And do you see that happen? Is that part of the movie?
It's behind a tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a lot of it definitely takes place outside, and it's misty. It's on the edge of a marsh or a swamp, and like a lot of the drama fight scenes are done behind a tree, and you can just see motion type thing. And
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's something I've noticed with all of the original horror movies is that, I mean, we're so used to horror equals slasher gore, ugly and nasty and brutal, but the classic is more tension and suspense and thrill. And so a lot of the actual violence is shaded and shadowed and tucked behind trees and whatnot. I mean, even it's almost it's dumbed down, but it's still potent.
Yeah. Well, my thing is that I love horror movies. I like to be scared. I like movies that scare me. I do
That explains
not.
why you drive the Thruway so much.
Yeah. I do not like gore.
right, and you know,
Right.
I think I would
not
be.
Do
like
slasher
gore.
movies.
I think
can't
I would be in
stand
the
them.
same part as Sherry. I'm like, I don't mind being scared. It's like all the blood and the guts and the gore and things like that.
Which is why I don't do zombies.
I
No,
actively
like I've watched Walking Dead. That's
Nope.
not too
Do
bad.
not
I
do
actively
zombies.
avoid like movies like Saw and
Yeah.
Nightmare
Seen
on
the
Elm
first
Street.
one. I gotta say, I've seen the first one.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And not as gory as they got later on.
Okay.
There is blood. I will not say that there's not, but it's much more restrained.
Now,
Gotcha.
see, the thing is, when I was in high school, I've seen Halloween and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street
never
and
seen any of
Phantasm
them.
and Hellraiser. I've seen all of those, but I was 17, 18 years old going with a group of friends because I didn't want to seem like chicken. And now I'm like, not a chance in hell type thing. I'm too old for this shit.
When I
type
was
thing.
when
Like,
I was
I don't think so.
My brother was always into horror movies, and he was 3 years older, and he literally used to force me to watch horror movies, and not just any horror movies. He was making me. I was young, and he was making me watch things like My Bloody Valentine,
Phantasm,
and The Children. No, I never saw that. I never saw Phantasm. I never saw Hellraiser until actually this summer.
The big silver one. As soon as you see it, it goes right in the middle of your forehead. Yeah. My dad took my mom and I to see that. I still am not forgiven him for that. No, it's like I like the suspense. I like the thriller. I like the mystery. I don't mind.
I love ghost stories.
I don't mind that. I'm just like, but. Boo.
I'll
6'5" ghost.
When it comes to watching horror movies, I prefer horror comedy.
Yes.
Like Scary Movie?
Tucker and Dale Against Evil.
We made Chris watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which was amazing. You laughed your ass off at
No,
that.
like I've seen bits and pieces of like, was it Zombieland?
Yes. Yeah. Cardio. Rule number 1.
The only person in my life that has managed to get me to watch legitimate scary movies, oddly enough, not Auntie Mel, but my friend Haley. She got me to watch both the Conjuring movies and that weird, I think it's called like Silence or something.
I was going to say, isn't what The Nun is a prequel to, is The Conjuring?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Billy.
Yes, sir.
As our resident classic monster movie expert, where does this one rank? How do you feel about the Wolfman?
This is the one I've watched the least, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I do enjoy it a lot when I watch it, but like you, I didn't get to this one when I was watching the older movies.
Okay.
So it's not as fresh in my head, but I do. There aren't any that I don't like, so I like it for sure. It's in my collection, and I like Sherry, the American Werewolf in London. To me, is one of my favorites. Even like Seth Green's character in Buffy. I just
Oz.
like Oz. I like the character. Eddie Munster was a little werewolf.
Yes, he was.
Yes,
I like the whole concept of werewolves in general.
What's interesting to me is, unlike Frankenstein, unlike Dracula, unlike the Mummy, the Wolfman didn't cement our ideas about werewolves. It didn't cement. I mean, because if you look at the different werewolf movies, I mean, everything from The Wolfman to Dog Soldiers to The Howling to Ginger Snaps, which is probably.
Do you have any of the underworld movies in your list to talk about? I mean, vampires and lichens. Lichens are werewolves.
Yeah, but I'm saying is that they all have very different concepts.
Okay,
they all have
a full moon is usually involved.
But
at least
not
in
always.
my head, yeah.
Not always. That's the thing that's interesting about werewolves, as opposed to, I mean, we couldn't just talk about just the Wolfman, because then we would be talking about like 4 films. It's not this whole genre of films. Like, you can talk about just Dracula without talking about all vampires. We did it.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about vampires later.
Right. Again.
We were planning to talk about Buffy, and we're going to talk about vampires when we talk about Buffy. But,
by the way, just so you know, Mr. Listener, Miss Listener, peoples, there's going to be a whole podcast about Buffy the Vampire Slayer coming up soon. Brace yourselves for that one. Teenage angst and supernatural stuff. That's going to be awesome.
It is.
With humor.
But it's interesting to me that this didn't cement an idea. The lore in this film is not the lore in all films.
Gotcha. And so Wolfman is everything scattered across all of the werewolf movies.
Yeah. So I mean, because like in the Wolfman, he just kind of looks a little bit like you, Tanya. You were saying he didn't even look like a wolf to you. He looked more like a monkey to you.
Well, I'm pulling up the image, and you're like looking at just the
makeup,
the makeup and the prosthetics. I'm like, it looks like truly a very furry human.
Yeah, which is why he was the Wolfman and not
a werewolf.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there you go from that at one extreme to the other extreme, where you couldn't even tell the difference between that and a regular wolf. It's the two extremes, because those are the extremes in the lore.
Okay.
Oh, there's some urban legend where I don't know if it's a werewolf or it's a wolfman, but he comes and he brings fish to poor people's house. Just like, here, there
That's
you go,
Aquaman.
there's food.
That's the Jason Momoa movie. That's coming out soon.
December 21st.
He brings fish on the king tide.
I am currently rereading Codex Born by Jim C. Hines.
Okay.
Which is one of his Libromancer books.
Gotcha.
And in it, there's a werewolf character, and they're talking about all the different types of werewolves, and because of in the books where things are pulled out, magic is pulled out of books, there's like all these different types of vampires, including what they call sparklers.
They're fae.
But anyways, but they were saying but with the vampires, they all try and keep the bloodlines pure.
Okay.
Where werewolves are just like whatever, and so there's no even within the same family of werewolves, we won't get werewolves with the same.
Well, you get mutts.
Yeah,
because
so you got one.
Dogs will hump anything.
So you get one, like two brothers who are werewolves, and one will have a severe silver allergy, where another one just prefers gold. Yeah. I mean, it's just there's no rhyme nor reason because, and that comes directly from the fact that there are so many different werewolf stories.
So it's his way of addressing the fact that there's through all of literature and film and everything that there is this disparity.
Yeah,
there's difference of opinion. Yeah, as it were.
Yes.
Like if you go, like I had mentioned Underworld. If you go to the Underworld movies, the Lycans have full control over whether they can change or not, and that's just it's so. Or you have Harry Potter, where you have Professor Lupin, who hides once a month because he's classic. The moon comes out, all hell breaks loose. So you have this whole gamut of different approaches to this one character type.
I think it's also that unlike Dracula, again, it's hard to be sympathetic.
Okay.
To werewolves because they do become mindless animals and bent on destruction. They have, when they're in human form, yes, they may be the most sympathetic creatures in the world. But once they become the
animal nature takes over.
Yeah. It's kind of like in Supernatural. The first werewolf that they ever come in contact with begs them to kill her.
Right.
Because she knows, I may have all the best intentions, but I will kill. I will kill.
Yeah. Being Human, the British series, which was also created as an American series, in both occasions, the nursing orderly, who becomes the werewolf, is very clear on how they feel about themselves.
Oh, our brain. I have one. I promise.
Okay. Walk us through it. Maybe we can help you get there.
Show I've seen with you. The character's name is Monroe. He's
it's
Too Close for Comfort?
No.
Fifth Element?
No.
That was Monroe.
No.
He was the gay guy.
Yeah.
Yes, I know I know what you're talking about. That's not the show she's talking about. Oh God.
And the episode that I can think of right now also has those people that were like the lambs and whatnot.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have... No, I'm sorry.
Was it Grimm?
Yes! Grimm, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. They have wares of all... And that's the thing, is werewolves are just the tip of the iceberg. There's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially for veteran D&D players, you know that the were section is very extensive, right down to were bear, were mouse, were rabbit. Yeah, it's all across. My favorite was the were moose. Yeah, that's a good thing.
In Grimm, what's really interesting is it's not just carnivores. It's they have were sheep and were pigs.
Oh, God.
And that's very interesting. And so you have
that
predators and prey were, which is
weird.
Causes conflict.
Yes, it does.
You would think anything that gets bit by anything that has the lycanthrope gene mutation or whatever has the potential of becoming...
So let's play this one out real quick. Werewolf bites a were-sheep, and somehow the sheep survives. Does it become a werewolf sheep?
So a werewolf bites a sheep, not a were-sheep.
No.
Bites a were-sheep.
Were-sheep.
Oh.
This is a thing.
I think it's genetically, it's got a 50-50 shot.
It's a werewolf sheep.
It depends on the Punnett square and which trait
here we go.
Which trait is dominant. Come on, you're going into genetics here.
Rawr.
If a werewolf eats a were-pig, does it try and blow its own house down?
There you go.
Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin.
These are the questions that we answer. These are the in-depth, intense questions that we deal with on Monkey Business.
Where did you come up with that one?
I don't know.
There's a character in Terry Pratchett's books who's a werewolf.
Yes.
Angua. She's one of mine and Monk's favorite characters in the series.
Her and Cheery.
Yep. And she is part of a litter because werewolves have litters. And there were 4 pups in the litter. And 2 were classic lycanthropes. 1 was locked in a human form, and 1 was locked in a dog form. Or a wolf form. And so she's trying to explain this to her boyfriend, who is about your height, Chris, about 6'5", but raised by dwarves.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Because why not?
As he put it, he was raised to a certain point by dwarves, and then the rest of the way as a human. But she's trying to explain that because her brother, the other lycanthrope, is awful. He's an awful person and psychopath. Yeah. But then she was talking about the one who's a wolf. Oh, he's a prize sheepdog in this other town. It was awesome.
Now, with this particular movie, The Wolfman, the classic from 1940, whatever the hell it was, 41, 10 years later. From Dracula and Frankenstein. I'm not going to ever say that.
Frankenstein.
I'm never going to call it Frankenstein.
I have trouble saying Igor and not saying Igor.
Yeah. Now, Claude Rains, where else have I heard that name before?
He's classic character actor. He's been in everything.
I was just like looking at him like, I didn't
the
recognize.
Invisible Man.
Claude Rains is
he was the Invisible Man.
Claude Rains is the kind of guy who has been in so many movies that when people talk about Kevin Bacon being in everything, Claude Rains would be like, please, amateur, come on.
He's referenced in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Claude Rains was the Invisible Man. Is in the first song, silent picture double feature.
Okay. So yeah, he was in everything. So, but this movie, we've talked about how does it give anything though? Does it crystallize anything that we use in pop culture today? I mean, we've talked about with Dracula a couple of weeks ago. We talked about with Frankenstein a couple of weeks ago or last week. But now, this one, does it just kind of just get lost in the howling mass of other werewolf movies?
The only thing that I can think of that a large majority of werewolf-type stories are set in rural areas, whereas the Werewolf of London took place in London.
Right, big metropolitan city.
Yeah, so the Wolfman moved it to the moors.
Okay.
And it took a long time for it to move back, for werewolves to move back to the city. Other than that?
Well, I'm thinking that they were out on the outskirts because they are hunters and they need...
Dogs like to roam.
They like to roam and things like that. And
there's lots of trees.
to go find their favorites several times. So, yeah, I think in regards to that, they're like outcasts to society anyway. And they're like...
Yeah.
Is that something portrayed in the movie?
The first werewolf in the movie is a gypsy.
Okay.
Either one or the other.
Gypsy. And and he kind of like shied away from the wolf's bane.
Yes. Actually, in the first one, the moon had nothing to do with it.
No.
It was the wolf's bane.
It's the wolf's
bane. When the wolf's bane blooms.
So interesting.
The moon wasn't even a factor in the
So it's not like
Wolfman.
once a month you're going to get a Wolfman. It's when this particular flower blooms.
Yeah. Yep. And so I'm like, definitely they play upon a lot of the foreshadowing in regards to this movie. And,
love that word.
And
it's very grown up.
So, like when I first thought when Larry Talbot comes back home, was his brother the one that was killed by a werewolf or whatever because he died in a hunting accident or whatever. So it made me, I'm like, so now is someone whatever. And then they just go through the film, but I'm like, I'm sorry, Larry Talbot is a peeping Tom.
Little perv.
He is. He's using a telescope in his father's attic observatory and peeps in on this daughter of an antique shop dealer who is getting ready for the day. Now, granted, she was fully dressed or everything, but she's like smoothing down her stuff, and he goes into the antique shop and like references that he's looking for earrings, and it happens to be the specific ones that are up on her nightstand. and he's trying to play off that he's psychic.
Stalker.
Definitely stalker. Yes. And I'm like, and she keeps saying, no, I'm not going to go out with you. No, I'm not going to go on a date. No, I'm whatever. I'm like, first thing, no. But she did anyway.
Yeah.
She walked out with him and Jenny's the first one that gets bitten by a werewolf, and then he defends and beats him with a silver walking cane with the shape of a werewolf or shape of a wolf, and then the
wolf's head cane.
And the pentagram symbol on it is the symbol of the werewolf. Is the
Do you
pentagram.
get the really cool, classic black and white movie close up where they put the camera right on the symbol?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Like Bela Lugosi, the lighting across Bela Lugosi's eyes, things like that.
So,
random question. Knowing the monkey business crew as well as we do, what is the likelihood that our beloved little monkey girl behind me, Lana, she sees a werewolf and instead of running away screaming, goes, "Popper!" and runs up to it and tries to hug it?
She's so adopting them all.
She would adopt the wolf.
She's not the only one that would adopt them all.
I wouldn't. This thing, no. They're
They're
not cute.
If you saw a werewolf puppy,
puppers,
like puppy, like the stuffed zombie werewolf baby puppy things that I have at home. That's about this
all
big.
Right, fine.
And
I'm
stuff.
stopping by Lollipop Farm on the way home today.
That's just adorable. No, but now I got to tell the story about my mom.
Tell the story.
So,
and then I got an observation, and then we're going to take a break.
And I was talking to my mom a little while ago about having to watch these classic movies and things like that. And I said, oh, yeah. And I ended up watching The Wolfman. And she's like, oh, I like that movie. I'm like, you do? Going, you like The Wolfman? I'm like, you don't seem to be a horror. She's like, yeah, I love that movie with Hugh Jackman. It made me stop. I almost like went off the side of the road. I'm like,
Wolverine.
That's Wolverine, Mom. That's something totally different. She goes, oh. I'm like, yeah, but that's a good movie too. But that's not a wolf man.
All together, we love you, Nana Robin.
So she's like, oh. I'm like, no, but I'm like, if we were going to watch a movie about a wolf man and whatever, I'm like, I'm just watching Van Helsing then, just for Hugh Jackman, because it gives me my Dracula, it gives me my Frankenstein.
It's not a good film.
No, but it's got Kate Beckinsale in it in a really nice outfit.
It's not a good film.
I don't care.
I'll turn the volume off and I'll just play D&D in the background, but I want to watch Kate Beckinsale in the swashbuckler shirt.
Yeah.
And leather pants.
No, he doesn't care about her kicking ass. He cares about the corset.
I just care about her ass.
At least he's honest about this.
Kate Beckinsale in a swashbuckler outfit.
But
I'm sorry. She is pretty hot.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, I was telling my mom this the other morning. I'm like, when I was talking about this, I'm like, you know what? She is a beautiful woman. I'm like, I felt like I was born in the wrong era in regards to just the clothing of the time. I'm like, I like the modern conveniences of hot showers and
toilets.
Indoor and plumbing, things like that. But I love
medicine.
The clothes and things
you
like that.
You ever been in a corset?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
They're incredibly comfortable, actually.
If you get the right one and it's done the right
fit
way.
Right.
So. Sherry knows about corsets because she is a Ren Fair veteran. She's not just a Ren Fair regular. She's a Ren Fair veteran.
Yes. I have to find one that actually
Talk to this woman right here. She will help you.
I will take you. I will take you somewhere, and we will get you fitted properly.
Actually, during this whole classic monsters discussion, I've been trying to remember a Saturday morning TV show I used to watch.
Okay.
And it finally hit me the name of it, so I Googled it. It was called Monster Squad.
Yes.
I remember that.
In 1976. Fred Grandy from The Love Boat.
Yes.
Played like was a museum curator or wax museum.
Fred Grandy, is that Gopher, right?
Gopher,
okay.
Yes. And
Congressman Gopher.
When Walt plugged in his computer, oscillating vibrations brought to life the wax statues of Dracula, played by Henry Pollock III, the Wolfman, Buck Cartelian, who here was named Bruce W. Wolfe, in which the W was stood for where. And Frankenstein's monster, played by Michael Lane, who was referred to as Frank N. Stein in the credits.
How clever.
And they solved crimes and had adventures and things.
That's amazing. I remember that show.
Now I want to see it again, and I'm sure it's
I think it
way
might be
more
on
awful
Netflix.
than I remember.
Oh, yeah. Probably like an order of magnitude more awful.
It was what?
13 episodes, yep.
1976, yeah. I was 4.
I was 11. So
yeah, it was probably
6.
not something I was watching.
Monk was negative a lot.
Negative a lot.
Wasn't even a twinkle by like 30 plus some odd years.
No, it wasn't that long.
All right, so what we have done is we've hit our Mount Rushmore over these past 3 weeks. We've hit our Mount Rushmore of classic monsters, Dracula, Frankenstein, and Wolfman. If there are any other monsters, we've done a mummy-esque type of thing.
Right.
We talked about Brandon Fraser's mummy. Mm-hmm. But if there's any other monsters out there that you want us to talk about, feel free to drop us a note, either on our Twitter. We're going to go to break now. And when we come back, we're going to talk about events, and we have our question of the week.
Jimmy Kimmel.
As I'm sure you know, Saturday is it's Halloween. You better get ready. You know, I feel like Facebook and Instagram have added a lot of pressure to making sure your kid has a good Halloween costume. When I was a kid, I was the Wolfman every year. Every year I put on a flannel shirt and glued some hair to my face, and I was the Wolfman. We put no thought into it whatsoever. Now you can't get away with that. Nowadays, you let your kids wear the same costume 7 years in a row, you get a visit from Child Protective Services. They'll knock on the door and tell you to mix it up.
That is actually a thing that's happened. I've seen it.
I'm going to be a ghost with all the
holes.
holes
We're returning back to the original. You want me to get it right? This is the time. This is the place. And this is FC3 Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky.
You got it memorized.
Just about. Just about. I've only been doing.
Since everything is geeky,
if you love it enough, you never know what you're gonna get.
We're going to have some events.
That's great. We should do that more often all together. I love that tagline at the end. We're all doing it together. I love that. Anyway, yes, we do have some events. Halloween weekend is around the corner, and this is going to be a huge return to action for the FC3 crew.
This weekend.
It's this weekend?
This weekend.
It got
We've been quiet for a few months.
It snuck up on us.
It did sneak up on us. We've been quiet for a few months, but now we're coming back con la vengeance. I don't know if that was actually any, foreign language. But anyway.
No, it's next weekend.
We're
sorry.
back.
I'm an idiot.
No, you're not. You just, we're all a little Twitter-pated and tired. So anyway, Halloween weekend. We're going to start it off October 25th. Mighty Monkey Corporation night at the Nightmare Manor with special guest Michael Koski from The Walking Dead. Tickets are $20 at the door. Donations of children's books or school supplies accepted to walk through with directors of Mighty Monkey Corporation and Michael Koski. Proceeds of the evening are going to go to MMC education programs. Please note that no discounts or coupons apply to this special event. Now, it's October 25th, starts at 7 p.m., and it will be at the Nightmare Manor, Southtown Plaza, 3333 West Henrietta Road, Rochester, New York, 14623.
Yes, next weekend.
That is awesome sauce. I'm so looking forward to that. And then, to keep things going, because one night is just not enough for us, tasting and trivia at Knox Craft Cocktails and Comfort Foods, again with Michael Koski. We got to keep him busy to keep him out of trouble. That is the very next day, October 26th from 7 to 11. Limited number of tickets. Tickets are $35.
They're going fast.
And they are. They're starting to really fly out the door at this point. Tickets are $35 and include a drink voucher, light food tastings, and an evening of trivia. And that'll be at the Knox Craft Cocktails and Comfort Foods on October 26th. In the Village Gate Mall.
How's the
Tanya.
Trivia going right now?
It was written for me. I'm getting ready to read it up, and I'm just going to go for it at this point.
Do you actually have a copy of it?
I don't have a copy of it yet.
Oh.
No. And then, because that's just not enough, we're at Nightmare Manor on the 25th, we're at Knox on the 26th, and then the 27th and 28th, we're taking over the theater wing of the Grease Ridge Center Mall, FC3 Flower City Mini-Con, coming at you in living color. Exhibitors, vendors, and artists. Tables for the weekend are only $75. Contact Brian at fc3roc.org if you're interested. And if you just want to hang out, show up during mall hours. We're going to be there.
I'm guessing that there's probably going to be games.
Games, yes. Vendors, yes.
Vendors, yes.
Michael Koski will be there.
Michael Koski, he'll probably be running around the mall.
Shenanigans.
We'll have to keep a leash on him.
We'll have costume contests.
Trick-or-treating with the vendors.
Yes. And if you ask really, really nicely, Tanya will take selfies with you.
And I don't take pictures.
She doesn't.
No.
Barely even if with me.
Only Sherry took a picture of me because I'm wearing my monkey wear today.
You are, and I was going to get to that.
Oh.
There is now monkey merchandise at this point. I can't believe it, but we have our hoodies and hats and pop sockets and
people
stickers.
Knew the whole.
We had
the whole rigmarole.
Yeah, from a few weeks ago, where on the air it was revealed that Tanya doesn't know what she's doing when she orders things sometimes. But the monkey merch is out there. Sherry, can you tell us a little bit more about the monkey merchandise?
It can be found at the company is called F Yeah.
I love that name.
I absolutely love.
F Yeah, baby.
She's a fantastic person.
It's Luann Evans.
Yes.
And that's what's going to show up on your credit card.
It's going to show up as Luann
Evans.
In Portland, Oregon.
In Portland, Oregon. So don't freak out like Tanya did.
Had the company name been on there, I would have not necessarily freaked out as much. But
but you can go. You can find it at www.fyeahprinting.com/collections/mighty-monkey. And we have shirts, we have T-shirts, we have baseball style shirts, we have hoodies, cups, stickers, hats. We have all kinds of things. What?
Tank tops and cozies.
Oh, yes. All kinds of stuff. And not just the Mighty Monkey Corporation logo. We also have the Flower City Comic-Con logo. And we have the FC3 Monkey Business logo.
There it is.
Please check
That's what I have
us
on currently
out.
is Monkey Business.
And it looks fantastic.
How's it feel?
It's comfy. I got an extra large, so I have a little bit of room in it.
Right. Because then you can layer.
Yes. It's nice and comfy for our 55-plus degree day.
Well,
today
it's getting
in
into
Rochester.
autumn. Favorite time of the year.
I know.
It's the most wonderful time.
Back to school for the
year.
kids and the Staples commercial.
It's my favorite season.
I love autumn.
I love
autumn. Is the best.
Me too.
Followed closely by construction. Oh, wait, summer. That's called summer. Sorry. I know there's a technical term for a more global aspect to it, but I'm just talking about the local.
Are you done?
I'm done.
It's almost winter, still winter, road work.
Right.
Those are the seasons.
Tanya, can you take us home on the Patreon stuff? Because I'm going to just tumble my way through that.
Want to be a part of FC3 Monkey Business and Mighty Monkey Corporation? There are a few ways of doing that. The first is to become a sponsor. We want you to become a sponsor.
There you go.
I'm sorry. My kids at school tell me the same thing.
We have to hear what you're saying, honey.
We have sponsorship levels of all kinds, are even willing to create custom sponsorship packets. So please contact us at sponsorships@fc3roc.org.
You want me to take the next one?
Sure.
Okay. The next way you can support us is by supporting us on Patreon. Please check us out at www.patreon.com/FC3ROC. All membership levels will include access to the Patreon-only blog, which we are really ramping up now. And you'll
Is that a hint?
No, that's not just for you. You're not the only one who got a little slacky over the summer. I did too, but we're really picking up on that. So please check that out. And we have a ton of great perks at all levels, including at one level you can pick the topic and come in and chat with us.
Hang out in
James
studio.
Irish.
We love you,
everybody.
We love you, James. But yes, please, we would love to have you in the studio with us. You pick the topic. We may not know anything about it, but you know what? We can fake it like the best.
And our apologies to Matt Damon. We've run out of time.
Want to help others find the show? Please leave us a review when you listen to us. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Podbean, YouTube, and Stitcher. Is there a place where you find your podcast and you can't find FC3 Monkey Business? Let us know.
Oh, God. And please follow us on Twitter at FC3MB Podcast. And if you do, please say hi. We love it when you say hi.
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 All right, so I'm going to take us home. Question of the week. Tanya Fabulous.
Yes.
What are you watching, reading, or playing that is making your geeky little heart happy?
Oh, my God, there's so much. Let's see. NCIS, Supernatural, getting ready for Doctor Who. I'm reading books on my Kindle. Lots.
Do you have time to sleep?
Yes.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
All right.
Because I have a new sleep number bed, and it's awesome, and it actually tells me how well I sleep every day because it's on my phone.
It also tells you when you've been moving around because you're just cuddling in and watching TV.
Yes, and that totally throws it off because then it'll say that you've been out of bed. So that's the only thing that's bad about it because...
But you get to edit the report.
It senses anytime I'm in bed.
Right.
and then it'll sense when I'm out of bed and then back in bed.
Does it sense what you're doing? Never mind.
No, it does not sense what I'm doing in bed unless I'm restless. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yay!
Type thing.
Billy,
Yes.
what are you watching, reading, or playing that is making your geeky little heart happy?
I'm going to go comic book wise this week.
Nice.
I picked up a couple new comics this past week. I don't
Okay.
get the big bag fill, but every once in a while I'll stop in and see, oh, that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new Mystery Science Theater 3000 comic book
Really?
that made me laugh.
Interesting.
That's
I enjoyed,
cool.
From Dark Horse. I enjoyed that. And also in comic book news, I'm enjoying the fact that a couple weeks ago, Batman's penis was in the news.
That's been a big thing. People have been talking about it lately. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
How did you see it? How clear? How like
It's
out in the
very
open is it?
shadowy.
Very
but
shadowy.
He's
Dick
he's
Knight?
doing
I
well.
don't know.
Yeah.
He's doing well.
I thought what was interesting is seeing the wide gamut of reaction to it, including a child abuse advocate saying, "Well, because he's circumcised, that's child abuse."
I did see that. In
I
my
just
little
was like,
goofy radio.
I had to
prep.
shake my head. I'm like, oh my God, it's advocating child abuse.
No, I refer to it as the Batawang.
The battle wing. Nice.
But that comic is now going for between $75 and $100
Oh, my
on
God.
eBay and at Midtown Comics, and I didn't make it into the comic book store that week. I wish I would have made it the first day or two it was out. Picked up a copy for $4 and flipped it. But
There you go. Did you see the new Fantastic Four #1?
I have not read it. I
have it?
I don't have it either.
Okay.
I've seen it in the stores. I didn't pick it up.
I haven't a chance to pick it up yet, too, but I'm told it's quite good.
Good.
So I have not actually done much with comic books for almost, I want to say 7 or 8 months. I have
Yeah,
because
me
I canceled
neither.
my pull list when I was in the run-up to buying the house.
Yeah, I understand. They're expensive.
Yes, they can be. Sherry.
I thought you were going to not do that anymore. You know that she doesn't like that.
Sherry. I love you.
When does that ever stop me?
Yeah, true.
All right.
I'm going to go with something I'm listening to.
Tell me.
Okay. A couple of times we have mentioned somebody that we've become friends with through Twitter.
Yes.
Whose name is Wade.
Hi, Wade.
And he has a podcast called Not Quite Heroes podcast. It's a short-lived podcast, and right now we're talking with him because he wants to start doing stuff again. But I finally have, and I feel really bad, Wade, I'm so sorry, finally gotten around to listen to, it's a Real Play 5th edition podcast.
Yeah.
And he's quite a talented DM, and I'm
Nice.
really enjoying his podcast. It's called Not Quite Heroes. It unfortunately it didn't last long due to people in his thing moving, but as I've talked to you in the past, he's now looking to get that back going, and he's been talking to Chris and I to help him out with that. He's got 2 in the works. He's got doing another 5e Real Play.
Okay.
And then he's also talking about doing a podcast of teaching his young children to play
Awesome.
D&D, which I absolutely love the concept
How old are his
of.
kids?
If I remember correctly, they're like 6 and 11.
Okay.
So they're young.
Yeah.
So he was picking our brains on how to do things. And I actually gave him some advice that Ethan Schoonover gave us.
Nice.
About starting at 0 level. And
giving you an opportunity to just kind of
slowly,
put around.
and not making it a huge story, starting with small stories to begin with. And I gave him a list of different books and things that might give him some ideas for stories.
And then you tell your 7-year-old, now that you're level 1, let me introduce you to the Tomb of Annihilation.
No,
No, it's Tomb of Horrors.
Tomb
Come on,
of
get it
Horrors.
straight.
yes.
Whichever.
Tomb of Annihilation is something entirely different.
That's
but yes.
usually a Saturday night at the bars. Anyway,
So I've been listening to Not Quite Heroes podcast.
I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to meeting Wade. You've talked about him a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
I would like to meet him too.
Face to face?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Virginia, I think?
Virginia? So it's road trip time. Gotcha. Okay. Monkey Girl.
Hi.
What's
I have been
It's your turn.
waiting a week for this.
Uh-huh. Oh, so she's ready.
Yes.
I have been preparing for this for like a week.
Uh-huh.
I have an app called Webtoons,
Uh-huh.
which are web comics, and that's what I read Lore Olympus through. But I
Okay.
found this one that's very Halloween-y.
Okay.
It's called
Halloween.
Shut Up.
That's also a Halloween movie, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it Frankenweenie?
Frankenweenie.
That's what it was.
Halloween is an entirely different genre of movie.
It's called The Strange Tales of Oscar Zahn.
Okay.
Oscar Zahn is... It follows the journey of the world's greatest paranormal investigator, Oscar Zahn. Friend to lost souls, enemy of evil. He may lack a body, but that doesn't mean he's missing a heart.
Aww.
He is quite literally a floating skull who wears clothes.
That's amazing. That's hilarious.
So it's a lich, the phylactery?
Demi-lich.
Demi-lich, it's Asarak?
Yeah.
Is that who it is?
That's Asarak wearing a suit, basically.
Okay, got it.
All right.
It's currently on hiatus. It's been on hiatus for a while.
Well, hopefully it'll come off of hiatus soon.
But I love it. I loved reading it so much because he's very dapper.
I love her.
That's awesome. Isn't she? I love Monk. Oh my gosh, her enthusiasm is amazing.
I like how she brought up. He's very dapper.
That's the whole point of him. He dresses in a suit. I'm pretty
I always
sure
know
he's
how
English.
cool something is in her opinion by how much she
vocabulary.
vibrates.
Oh.
It's how she vibrates.
Yes.
When she starts hitting the Richter scale, then I know she's really into something.
She's really excited.
Did I ever tell you about the time she actually met Ted Raimi?
Oh my god.
Yes, you did mention that.
Oh
one.
She couldn't speak.
Yes.
Nope.
She just stood there and vibrated at a really
Stunned
high
sight.
frequency.
I think she's doing that right now.
Yes. She's
Just
recalling
thinking about it.
All right.
And she's not even that big of a fan.
Real quick, I want to throw this out for everybody who's listening, because my turn. What's making my geeky little heart happy right now? Jodie Whittaker is the Doctor.
Yes.
Holy crap! They should have done this sooner. And I'm not gonna slam any of the guys
previous
before
Doctors.
because I love them all, but damn, landed the dismount. And I now it's funny because years ago I've gone on record saying I don't think they should do it. Now I'm happy they did.
Yep.
I'm all the way around.
They're like,
the
why
circle.
did they do this sooner?
Yeah, I'm now all the way around that circle.
Oh, we have an episode all about her coming up.
Good. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've already got it in
Oh
the
yeah.
works.
That's happening. Anyway, so that's that. Let me know what making your geeky heart happy. Tell us. Post something to Twitter. Post something to Facebook. And email me for all I care. I don't care. It's awesome. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope you have a great week. So we're going to wrap it up for this particular show. And this has been Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Mini, coming at you this
Next weekend.
October 27th, 28th at the Breachford Center Mall. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Patreon. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us everywhere we go. And we will lead you to where the entertainment is. We love you. We miss you. We can't wait to see you next week. Have a great one, and we'll talk to you soon.